who has been very kind enough to accept the invitation to be amongst us today. In fact, I have been associated with Dr. Rao since last almost, I think, 10 years. Ever since I was in IIT Hyderabad, he has been my research mentor, and at least I can say for sure that I have learned a lot from him. The session which you are going to have just now is quite pertinent in today's business environment, which is disruptive technology, innovation and management education. When we say the impact of technology, technology has always been there ever since the civilization started. Only thing the technology evolved over a period of time, and today in this era we have to, like it or not, use technology in each and every sphere of our activity. Technology has disrupted not only education, it has disrupted almost all walks of life. The way we shop, the way we consume, the way we learn, it has percolated across all domains. So we cannot wish it away. Technology is there to stay and to keep on evolving to an extent that we will have to rethink and revisit the way we live, the way we teach, the way we learn. And the entire lifestyle is going to get impacted by technology. So it has disrupted all walks of life. There could be some flip sides as well. We have to understand how we can leverage technology. Rather than being slaves of a technology, how we can make technology our slave. Implying therein that how can we use technology to our own advantage, instead of technology being our masters. So that is the very important question that we need to address ourselves. And when we talk about disruptive technology, obviously innovation becomes an important theme. When we say innovation, it's not that something new which was not existing. It might have been existing, but the way it is being used may be new. So that is what is innovation. I normally call it a kind of a creative destruction. What I imply by creative destruction is destroy the status quo, destroy the worst practices you are doing right now, and do something new. As it is very commonly said, winning teams do not do anything different. Winning teams do the same thing in a different manner. So that is what is innovation about. So innovation means essentially be creative and think out of the box and do same thing in a different way so that we win the race. And today almost all academic institutions, including B schools, are evolving to make use of technology to their advantage. Quite often I see that organizations are doing well. It's not that they are not doing well, but we understand our competitors are running faster and choice is ours. So can we make use of technology to run faster than our competitors? Whether it's a business, whether it's an academic institution, whether it's a government organization, whether it is NGO, it is applicable to each and every kind of organization. So we have to rethink the way we do business. We may have to revisit entire thought process and leverage the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, automation, robotics, so on and so forth. Recently, I was just going through an article on supply chain management, that being my area of studies. I found today industry is using Internet of Things in controlling inventory. It was really an eye-opener. In almost all the fields, be it marketing, be it operations, be it HR, be it finance, each and every area gets impacted by technology because of disruption. So we have to make use of disruption, leverage this disruption to enhance our academics, and then finally evolve into a better management education. Now, management education is not like physical sciences or social sciences. It's a combination of liberal arts, humanities, physical sciences, even life sciences. And if we start thinking about each and every discipline which cuts across management education, we have all the more a case in point, how do we use technology, emerging technologies, to be a better manager and have effective governance. That becomes a pertinent point for us to deliberate today. How do we make use of disruption through innovation and imbibe that in our course curricula so that we become ready for the Industry 5.0. Industry 4.0 is almost passing. Now the time has come when men and machines have to work together, they are interdependent, and face Industry 5.0, and that's a challenge. Last but not the least, I urge each one of you present over here, particular students, to make this session quite interactive. Ask as many questions as you can, because this kind of opportunity doesn't come every day. It's a rare opportunity where a stalwart like Dr. M.R. Alvaro is here to interact with you. If you miss this opportunity, perhaps you miss it forever. So once again, I urge you to be more interactive and make this session quite lively. And when you leave this hall, you should be able to have many takeaways. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And now I request Mr. Gautam Polisetti, sir, Chief Technical Officer, FTL Technologies, Florida, United States, to grace the stage. Now, I request Dr. S.P. Ravindra sir, Dean and Secretary, IIAM, to address our audience.
A very good afternoon to everyone, and I always take it as a privilege. It is a privilege by sharing the task with Professor M.R. Rao, a man who really made his presence felt in India by giving the best for management education, offering his services in IIMs, offering his services in ISB as a dean, the person who was instrumental in establishing ISB. Not only that, his services are being well utilized by all the management institutions in the country. No matter conference held anywhere in the country, it is Professor M.R. Rao sir is the one who's been holding the fort high and the flag high for management education in India. So we're very happy and proud and privileged when he had accepted our request to head IIAM as the chairman of the Board of Governors. We really thank you, sir, for the blessing what you always give to this institution and for the blessing what you give to the students of Alberta's group of institutions, for the blessing what you're trying to give in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, which is really required for the need of the day. Andhra Pradesh, frankly speaking, do not have much of autonomous institutions. We are very proud to say IIAM is the only institution which started in '87 and holding the fort. No matter ups and downs have been coming, but for 37 years we've been holding the fort. All said and done, as the graphical always says, every product has got an upward trend and then it gets onto the downward trend. So probably we have little gone back on the downward trend, but at the same time, we are very, very, very happy. Professor M.R. Rao sir recommended our Professor Satish to hold this institution as the Director General, and Professor Satish, after his comment, he's been seeing that several talks have been arranged and he's got access to all the professors, almost all the professors in the country. Not only that, he recommended some names to be on the board which had really become feathers in the cap, not one feather, feathers in the cap. So with that kind of support, I think you people should attend, see that you take advantage of what you're getting here. That's the reason I said we have to have it in the auditorium. Amma, if anyone has a problem, నేను చెప్పొచ్చేది ఏంటంటే ఇంత మంచి ఆపర్చునిటీలు మన ఆల్బర్టా గ్రూప్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అందరికీ బెనిఫిట్ పొందాలి. అందరూ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్కి మేనేజ్మెంటే కాదమ్మా, డిగ్రీ చేసినా, బీకామ్ చేసినా, బీఏ చేసినా, బీఎస్సీ చేసినా, మీ ఎప్పుడు ఇలాంటి ఎమినెంట్ ప్రొఫెసర్స్ కానీ టాక్స్ వింటే, బికాస్ ద పీపుల్ ఆఫ్ సమ్ పీపుల్ విత్ తెలుగు సార్, సో దట్స్ ట్రైన్ టు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్. సో యూ బాగా బెనిఫిట్ పొందుతారు. కాబట్టి ఇలాంటి ఆపర్చునిటీలు ఎప్పుడు మిస్ చేయకండి. మేము మెల్లిమెల్లిగా ఎవరికైతే ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉందో వాళ్ళని పిలుస్తాం, అందరినీ పిలము. ఏదో ఈరోజు పిలిచాం కదా అని అందరూ వచ్చారని అనుకోకండి. మేము డేటా బ్యాంక్ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తున్నాము, అటెండెన్స్ చూస్తాము, కంటిన్యూస్గా వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని పిలుస్తాము. ఒక 3 సెషన్స్ కానీ కాకపోతే వాళ్ళని మళ్ళీ ఆపుతాము. ఎందుకంటే ఐఎమ్ వెరీ క్లియర్, డోంట్ టేక్ థింగ్స్ ఫర్ గ్రాంటెడ్. ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ బీ ద సేమ్ వే వాట్ ఇస్ బీయింగ్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ రైట్ నౌ. So please try to understand, please register, write down your name, number, everything. That's the reason we're making data bank. And to add more value, I'm very happy and proud to say that Mr. Gautam is here. Basically, Gautam is based in Florida in America. He worked for several IT companies, promoted his own startups, and he's been offering his services in every which way in US. By including offering training programs for the directors of various companies. And he's been offering right now for the middle and senior level executives. He's a good friend of mine, childhood friend based in US in Florida. So last time when he came out to VIZAG, last time వచ్చినప్పుడు విశాఖపట్నం మన IIAM లోని he addressed on a topic on agile topic. And this time he spoke on problem solving. So ade kaadu, we're trying to take it big way, sir, with permission, sir. We wanted to having what do you call a YouTube channel where we wanted to host capsule programs there, and all the program what we discussed, we will take sir's approval, your guidance. Director General will also be there. So we have to make it a very good capsule program, sir. And today morning in my morning walk in Walter Club, some of my friends were talking about retail management. I said, you plan to get into retail management? And then I told them about these capsule programs. All those people are businessmen. They have done management various places. But they said, Ravi, please do this. Please do this. We need to get updated. We really want to do it. I said, this is how we're trying to structure it. They said, we'll be doing greatest of, help for the field of management and for a businessman also, because they're getting outdated. At the same time, coming to a session of today, disruptive technology, innovation and management education. I better not talk before Sir talks, because he's got a lot of clarity, and if I talk, I make mistakes. So that's the reason I don't want to talk about the topic as such, but I really congratulate the director, faculty, students of IIAM who could organize Teja, because I could learn Veronica, and all the people, including the computer faculty, who could organize the session today. And I congratulate and thank the directors of Samatha, SIM, CMT, and law school also, law college in IIAM Law College. All the students who have come here, including IIAM students, who have always been holding the fort high. Thank you all for the lovely opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Gautam sir to address the audience.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. You know, you are here listening to a fantastic topic, near and dear to my heart, disruptive technologies, innovation. You know, you are all living in a really interesting times. You're growing up in one of the most exciting times. Technology is changing so fast, at the speed of light. As a matter of fact, we just started a company called Faster Than Light. So, FPL, right? But hey, you know, I don't want to stand in between you and the brilliant professor, Ramohan Rao, right? So please, focus on what he's saying. This is really a fantastic opportunity for you all. Thank you again. Bye-bye now.
Now I request our esteemed chief guest, Dr. M.R. Rao Garu, to address our audience and commence his session.
Good afternoon to all of you. So, I'm indeed happy to be here. I must thank Dr. Satish Ailavadi and Dr. Ravindra for inviting me to give this talk. I'm always curious about when I look at the name boards. You know, one is Professor Doctor, one is Doctor, one is Doctor. I don't know. The others are not professor. What? Right away, I always say, look at the name boards and so on. But in any case, let me wonder what I should talk about actually. The title is Disruptive Innovation and Disruptive Technologies, Innovation and Management Education. That's how I've titled this. Let me also tell you what is disruptive innovation and disruptive technology, as opposed to technologies keep changing all over, right? But some of them may not be disruptive as such. I'll illustrate some of those. I mean, it's not my own, it's all from, references are given at the end and so on. So, advanced technical changes keep on happening. So innovation has been studied by economists over a long period of time. Of course, they like creative destruction and so on. And they also develop tools for management policy and so on. And people talk about constructive disruption. What it is integrated, current technology is integrated to new innovation and it continues, creates an advantage, but doesn't create a disruption as such. It's a complete new thing. The best example of people always quote of the disruptive technology is when Kodak invented the camera with the present day iPhone type of cameras, but they didn't take it seriously. And I don't understand why they did not take it seriously, but they thought that it doesn't have a market, so they just ignored it until others came over and they found that they were not up to the mark and they could not compete in the marketplace. This is often cited as a disruptive technology because once there is disruptive technology, you may or may not think that it is going to change. One such disruptive technology I want to talk about in management education is online. Some people, especially the teachers and so on, will say online will never come to it because we want face-to-face always. But it's a disruptive technology. There will come a point when online may take over everything, but it's not there right now. So what you should do for strategic thinking is that you should be prepared when the inflection point occurs. You should be prepared to go into it. You can't just wait until then and then you won't be able to compete. So it's very important that you identify what is going on in the marketplace, what are the disruptive technologies that are going on, and then be prepared for that. And whether we are or not is an issue. And what is going to happen to management education partly because of disruptive technology, partly because of other things also. So disruptive innovation also, technology, it doesn't have to be high technology. Technologies may be same, but you can have disruptive innovation without any new technology coming through. If you look at, for instance, now, new technology is not that much in terms of course, there's a lot of technology that has been changing in terms of computers and chat GPT and things like that, but not built on really new technology, but more enhanced availability of storage and speed of calculation, storage capacities and so on. What people are not really talking about, I'm surprised actually, the most disruptive technology that is going to come in the next few years is quantum computing. Once quantum computing comes, the whole scenario will change. Algorithms will have to be rewritten and speed will become so fast and everything will change. I think, my opinion, quantum computing will be a disruptive technology, and how you will use it, of course, it will take some time, but it's not that you want to be into it now. See, it's also from the market point of view, when you have disruptive technology, if you're too much ahead of the game, you won't also succeed. Because I remember, nowadays people talking about management education for the agriculture sector, for transportation and so on. In 1975, the first director of IIAM Bangalore, Professor N.S. Ramasamy, had the same idea, but he was too far ahead of the times, and people didn't think anything at all about it. So timing is also an important factor, we should not forget. But what you should really be doing is looking at the technologies that are coming and be prepared when the transition occurs. You should be able to move into that. I hope we will be able to do that in terms of quantum computing and in terms of online education and so on. See, why does this problems come about? What happens is good firms are usually aware of innovations, but they think that's coming, but that's not important. Just like now, if you ask the faculty, they'll say online is okay, but face-to-face is important. No, definitely face-to-face is important. The comparison is not between the two. When you take away convenience, what about convenience factor and other factors? So it's a combination of different factors that one should look at. Why does disruptive technology occur? Because all the factors put together becomes important. Not just one factor. We look at only one factor, face-to-face is important and so on. But convenience, you avoid all the going in, and what is more important is, why is chat GPT becoming very important? You see, it's again because you have, you have Google search, we had all that before. What's the big difference with ChatGPT? It's interactive. So it becomes like a classroom. What is classroom? Is a teacher is teaching, or then students can ask questions. Although in management education, students can ask questions, but in high school, still probably it's not allowed at all. I remember in ISB, there was we had students who are slightly older. Some of the students. There was a lady who had a son about 10 years or so. She was from Mumbai. She came. She was. Okay, I hope this is better. Okay, thank you. So she had come, and so one day one faculty member saw her and son. She towards the end of the program, she brought her son to the campus, and there was still a few classes. So the faculty member said, "Why don't you take him to the class, one of the classes?" And so on. So she said, "Is that allowed?" He said, "Not really, but if the faculty allows, you don't have a problem." So said that. A few days later, he saw them again. He said, "Did you go to any class?" He asked the boy. He said, "Yeah." He said, "So how was the experience?" He said, "It's amazing. They even let the students talk in the class." So, in high school and so on, if you ask a question, I'm sure you're treated as a troublemaker and so on. The inquisitiveness and asking questions is not allowed, and that is where the biggest problem is. And ChatGPT is that you can ask questions and it will reply, and you can ask even silly questions maybe, and you don't bother. But that's why I think it's derivatives of ChatGPT, not in its current form, but improvements will happen, and it will be interactiveness is important. What we also don't understand fully in terms of learning, you think, traditional approach has been in a classroom of 60 or so, you have 50, 60. You think all of them will learn at the same pace. And that is not always the case. Some are fast learners for a particular subject, and some are slow and so on. And you're not able to, you can't have a class where different levels of students are there and still be able to. That's where online and the sort of allowing students to take more advanced courses, those things will come about in the future. How exactly it will come about, we don't know. Okay, so what happens in disruptive innovation? New markets are created. People who would not have otherwise gone into, say, education, with online education, they may be more inclined to joining the programs and so on. So I think you can have sustaining innovations, types of innovation. You can have disruptive innovations and so on. But let me talk a little bit about innovations or improvements in education. Some of you may not think they're really innovations. So I already mentioned about learning capabilities are different. There are some people looking at these kinds of things, how to, I haven't really seen this, but people say that what you really need is in a classroom. Give not a lecture, you give material. People are learning at different speeds. So those who are fast get to take advanced material. Those who are slow may be taking longer and so on. How exactly this is done, how exactly this can be done is not clear to me. But I think that is something is important. The traditional approach is that everybody learns at the same pace. That's not true. So I think learning capabilities are different, and that is being recognized. Individualized learning, whether you can give individualized learning, and this kind of technology helps in that by individualized learning. In fact, one of the faculty members from US was telling me nowadays they have an equipment, she told me, that tells you which students are listening, which students are just goofing off, which students are just wandering through and so on. So I said that would be very useful, that technology for the faculty, but I haven't seen anybody else using it. But I think these technological developments are happening, and we may not be fully aware of what exactly is going on. Again, when that will come into extensive use, we don't know. Depends upon the cost, various factors are. Okay. We as teachers like to believe learning to learn by oneself is the most important thing. It's very important, but actually we teachers think that we do that, but we don't do a good job of that. Learning to learn by oneself. I'll tell you my experiences at Carnegie Mellon, because it was a long time back. There was a professor, it was the first course in the doctoral program, management science program. First class, he had a list of about, there were about 10, 20 students, 10, 15 students. He had a list of about 30 articles. And first class, he assigned them 30 articles, one by one to 10 or 2. So each one got about two papers to study and make presentation in the class. That was the program, whole session program. And sometimes we found that the faculty itself had not read the papers. So it was surprising. So somebody said, we should go and complain to the dean. So somebody else said, you know what happened last year? The students went and complained to the dean, and the dean said, listen carefully, and said, who are the good teachers? So I said, Professor X, Y, Z, and so on. The next day, the dean walked into the office of Professor X, Y, and Z separately, and said, how come you're not spending enough time on research? So those days, research was important. That was the only thing that was important. Nowadays, it's not the case, because teaching is also important. So that's why I say experience can sometimes be blinding. I think that the experience I had at Carnegie Mellon in terms of teaching is the way to go, then I'd be sadly mistaken, because I also know subsequently, several years down the road, one of the professors who was a great researcher was denied tenure because his teaching was atrocious. So things keep changing, and you should understand that your past experience is not always applicable now. So that's why I say experience can be blinding, because you think your experience is the way it should go. And sometimes we faculty members go that way, because we think we know better and so on, and we ignore the market. Okay. So, some of the innovations. So nowadays, MOOCs, lots of courses are available. In fact, some other institutions require faculty members to take at least 1 or 2 MOOCs courses, other courses online to keep themselves up to date and so on. I think that's very important, and I also must give you some of my experiences. You know, we think learning, when does learning actually happen? It's very difficult for people to really know. I'm not sure. When I was teaching at the University of Rochester, I asked a colleague of mine, he did his PhD from, I think in somewhere or something, and I asked him, who were the good teachers, how did you learn? He said, one teacher, he came fully prepared to the class, everything he would do purposely, and it was good, we learned something. But there was this other teacher who was very, very competent, but he would not come very prepared. He would make all kinds of essays, start writing and so on. So, I should have moved it. This is the outline of artificial intelligence. Certain technologies are covered. This is where we are. So he said, this other professor, he used to come, he was a very competent professor, but he wouldn't come very well prepared to class. So he would write all sorts of things, not all sorts of some mistakes and so on. So we all got into it, and we really learned a lot itself. So you never know when learning happens. As I was telling you about the Carnegie Mellon, the professor was just not teaching, but when I look back, that really brought something for me at least, that you have to sit down and work hard and you can understand these papers. It may be very difficult at first glance to say, oh, the mathematics, although we don't want it. But if you sit down, you have no other choice because you have to make the presentation. And the best way to learn is to make presentations. I always tell, of course, students are here, it's not a good thing to say to students. Best way for a teacher to learn is to start teaching the course, but don't tell the students that they're learning. That's one of the best ways to learn something. Too close. Too close. That's okay. Okay, I hope it's better. Okay. So, when does learning happen and how well students learn is a very difficult thing. Now, let me talk a little bit about business analytics, which so I'll look at the course from ISB to tell you. Business analytics courses are different in different institutions. Okay? At ISB, they have about a 3-term course for probability statistics, VIZAG Python, the introduction to databases, then of course business fundamentals, data collection, data visualization, text analytics, data management, statistical regression testing, and so on, optimization, which probably not many institutions cover optimization, but ISB does cover optimization. Simulation, forecasting analytics, data mining, deep learning, and things and so on. Then you have marketing analytics, retail analytics, supply chain, financial, and so on. They have practical and so on. So if you look at this curriculum, it's actually, when you look back, when I say this, people don't really like it, but it's a combination of 3 things. Big data management, multivariate statistics, and optimization. These are the 3 core types of things, which are already there, but they were not packaged and put into one form to say the part. Each one would go in a different direction. Optimization would go in one direction, statistics would go in another direction, big data management would go in another direction. Putting them together for business purposes is what makes business analytics more popular. It's really a combination of 3 things if you look at business analytics as such. Now, why is this sort of, is it disruptive innovation or disruptive programs? I don't think it's really that disruptive, but it is something that one needs to be aware of, one needs to have programs that are in each of the institutions and so on. Okay, let me talk a little bit about artificial intelligence, which is the big thing now. So I always start with this quote by Herbert Simon. Many of you would not have heard Herbert Simon. He is an economist, computer scientist. In 1957 or so, predicted chess will become an irrelevant game in 10 years. Artificial intelligence was coined. I don't know who coined the word. I don't think it was him. Somebody else coined the word artificial intelligence. He said in 10 years, chess will become an irrelevant game. How long did it take? And chess is still not an irrelevant game. But in 2003 or 4, for the first time, a computer program, Deep Throat, beat the Grandmaster. So what I'm trying to say is, artificial intelligence and so on is hyped up a little too much every time. And one professor said, in the short run, we overestimate the capability of artificial intelligence, but in the long run, we underestimate it. Of course, we don't know what is long run and what is short run, but as you look at it, I think there comes a time when what we have predicted 50, 60 years ago may become true as far as artificial intelligence and so on is concerned. So our professor added, if you want to do any predictions, do 50, 60 years ahead. So if it becomes true, you will be hailed as a visionary. If it doesn't become true, they have done bother about it anyway. So, predictions are always, why I'm talking about predictions is, look at all these high performance. Predictive analytics is still very poor. Very, very poor. In fact, the ChatGPT was supposed to be great and so on. I don't know how many of you are cricket fans, of course we lost the match yesterday, but in match between, I think, Australia and England, Australia and India, somebody put ChatGPT, said what is the prediction? And they said, ChatGPT predicted that the last day Australia will be chasing some 400 runs and they'll lose few wickets, everything will go haywire, but then they'll manage to win and so on. That was the prediction. And Australia won that very comfortably without any problem. So, ChatGPT, predictive analytics is going to be the most important thing you ask me. And why people are not talking about this? Because artificial intelligence also is not very great in predictive analytics. Predictive analytics is what is going to help. And if that can be cracked, then there will be a really, very difficult. I'm not sure they'll be actually be able to crack that. But that is something, it's like understanding what the future is going to be like. So, it's not easy at all. Okay. So, artificial intelligence, machine learning are the different things that are important. So, according to Marvin Minkowski, I think, artificial intelligence works in 4 different ways. One is automated intelligence, automation of manual things like now. And in fact, you look at, say, about 50 years ago, many of you would not know this, in India there should be a big debate whether the computer should be there or not. And we used to, I was come to IIAM Bangalore, and my director used to say, we're a very funny country, we import communism from America and computers from USSR. Because the Russian computers were very popular in India in those days. So, we always keep debating these issues, which is okay, debating, but ultimately what we do is important. So, augmented intelligence helps people make better decisions. Autonomous intelligence, automating decision-making processes without human making. Is ChatGPT and its success is going to be autonomous intelligence? I don't know to what extent it will be. See, what is happening is actually, currently they have programmed and ChatGPT takes in a lot of data and summarizes it. Now it's also possible, and I suspect they are doing that, they feed in all new information as it comes along. And ChatGPT comes to its own conclusions based on it. Now how well, how accurate it is not quite clear. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what the situation will be going forward. Okay. So automation and augmentation. Automation is machines slowly will start doing what people do and then replace people. Augmentation is start what humans do and find out how work can be deepened and so on. So there have been great strides in recognition technology, especially face recognition. But PwC research says detailed financial services, healthcare will be in the most, and the education sector they say is the least prone to automation and so on. So, but we have to see whether we can do enhance online learning and how it is going to come up, interactive learning and so on. So, faculty, what is the implication for faculty? Instead of delivering content, so we have been mostly in terms of delivering content, now you have to start looking at how to get the students involved, how to get them active in the classroom, how they will learn better and so on. Self-paced curriculum kind of thing will be there. And it will of course cut costs, improve quality and so on. Difficulty of course is e-learning requires a lot of effort and preparing the material and so on. So what the future is going to look like is very difficult to say. But what people are predicting is traditional 4- and 2-year program may disappear. Modular learning, That is, you do your programs and then you are go to work and then you learn. If you learn something, you go back and take those. This is going to happen. When it will happen, we have to see. Not clear how long it will take. So, of course, I've given some references. I'll close here. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. No questions means it's either completely understandable or completely ununderstandable. So I'll assume the former. Okay? Close it.
I have a question. Like with the kind of technologies which are disrupting education, especially the business schools, what suggestions you would like to give to the faculty members to prepare them for the emerging, how the faculty members should upskill themselves so that they can productively overcome these challenges and bring a new kind of a pedagogy in the classroom, engage the students so that the students' learning outcomes become better and better.
See, it's very important for faculty to understand that things are changing. An important aspect is the attitude of the faculty. If you don't have that attitude to change, you think this is all a fad, nothing is going to come, you will not change. So if you think it is the future, then you will start looking at it. That's the first step in trying to get the attitude of some of the faculty to change. But having said that, that's not the only thing. You have to worry about the learning. That's why I said some of the institutions require the faculty to take at least one online course and so on. Maybe you can give more guidance in terms of what courses they should take and what they should carry. And then actually start implementing in the classroom some of these things that they learn and teaching and so on. And some part of online, some part of student involvement and so on, we have to do that kind of thing. And most important thing is you have to really, if you're a faculty member, you should really see what others are doing in your institute and other institutions and see how you can bring it into the classroom, which are the good practices. Not every practice, just because a professor in IIAM or some other place is doing that does not necessarily mean you should follow. You see what it is which is good, which you think has a potential, and you should try to incorporate. That means you must keep your mind open, you should be seeing what is happening around and see whether you can bring it into the classroom. So I think that's where the attitude becomes very important. But I said the attitude alone is not sufficient. You have to actually start implementing it. And from the institute also should give some incentives for people who are doing that, making about changes and so on. And that is also important. So that those faculty who are actually making the changes, they get rewarded with more incentives, more faculty may want to.
Basically, we need to have more kind of a training programs for the faculty members also, so that they can adopt to the emerging technologies. That's what.
Training program is essential, but sometimes what happens, the training program, faculty think they know already, and so on. Okay, that is the biggest problem, biggest change, attitude. So what else are you saying, and so on. That's when they start actually implementing, forcing them to implement. But training is important, there's no doubt. So somebody who is well versed with it and shows them actually. So suppose somebody is teaching, say, supply chain management. You get a professor who is actually teaching supply chain management with all this, online and other material and so on. and he actually shows them what it is and so on. And then they'll see the bad.
In this context, will it help, suppose, in one of the internal component evaluation, which nowadays as per NEP 2020 also, continuous internal assessment, CIA, is becoming more important. So do you suggest that as a part of the continuous assessment, internal assessment, we should have one MOOC course or any kind of a digital platform, Coursera or whatever, even SWAM also. Students should be asked one particular course in their relevant specialization, and wherein faculty becomes the guide of that student, and after the completion of the course, some kind of viva or some kind of a test can be evaluated. In the process, faculty will also go through that course so that he gets acquainted with it. Will it help that?
It will help, but more importantly, according to me at least, what NEP misses is that they talk about breadth. Okay? Now, breadth in a management education, what does it mean? So, you might say management itself is breadth of education. But even if you don't buy that argument, okay, you want people to take courses in economics or in psychology or history or whatever. Nowadays, those courses are available online. So it's a question of identifying the appropriate courses and make your students, what I say is, what you should really have in your program, I'm just using a number 2 or 3, what I would call free electives in the program, which students can take across anywhere, but if it is a course that is not offered because you don't have the expertise, but it may be online, MOOCs course or some course, and they'll get credit for that also. So that way you can get breadth into the program. I think breadth is important. I've talked to a lot of people from industry and they say breadth, they're too narrowly focused and so on. Breadth is important, but you can get breadth by, that is where all these online courses come into play. Because the standalone institute, you cannot afford to have a lot of faculty in psychology or economics and so on. If you have all those departments that are full-fledged university, it's fine. But for standalone institutions, even if it's a full-fledged institute, they don't talk to each other. You see universities, the courses offered by the psychology department, probably hardly any management students take them. So that is the problem. So that's where I think online education can play a big role.
Thank you.
Well, indeed, very good explanation, and it's a start of innovation. Thank you very much for your wonderful talks. My name is Varalakshmi, and I'm a faculty here. I'm with the technology for the past 32 years. And it started with the IBM machines, then we went to the Windows, then we started using MacBooks, Macintosh systems, then servers, networks. So the change is happening every 4 years. That is what I have observed. And wherever this technology is implemented, investment is the one major factor that impacts the receiving or adapting to the new technology. So coming to this disruptive technology, where we talk about Internet of Things or blockchain or any of the new technology that changes the way we work at a minimum cost, that is one thing that we need to keep in mind. So how prepared are we to take up this disruptive technology thing forward in the B schools? See, all the premium schools are already implementing them and trying to involve the students and faculty in encouraging them learn online and or in a hybrid mode. Wherever they want, they can come and sit in the class. Whenever they want, they can attend to the sessions online. And sometimes it's going to be hybrid. So again, there is some kind of investment. So for everything, there needs to be some kind of investment that the management need to keep implementing or thinking about in order to take this technology forward, implement it, and then teach to the students, and again change it whenever it changes. So what is the best solution that you'd like to give the Peace schools in implementing this technology that changes continuously, where change is a constant thing here, and we can't go on changing the infrastructure. So whenever we have a lab set up, and if that doesn't work well with test tools that we would like to use it, then it becomes obsolete. The systems become obsolete. So how do we prepare as faculty, and what is the tip or your valuable suggestion that you would like to give us so that we can take this technology forward forever?
Thank you. It's a good question. It involves investment. Money is required. I always say money is essential, but it's not, doesn't solve your problem. It's necessary but not sufficient. You can spend a lot of money, but still not achieve the results. You have to be very careful where you're spending. And I think also, this is where I think you should get your alumni involved. If alumni is involved in some technology development, you tell them, look, why don't you come and set up a lab here? You will get all students to do that and so on. It's a new technology coming up. So your students will learn and so on. The technology just, when they will go into the marketplace, they will all be your ambassadors to technology development. So you should work with your alumni and try to raise funds or set up labs and so on. If the technology doesn't catch up and so on, next one comes here, maybe there's an alumni there and so on, you get new lab involved and so on. I think funding is important, setting up labs is important, and alumni can help you a lot in that direction. When I was, just to give you some idea, when I first became the director of IIAM Bangalore, I wanted to promote research and so on, but I found out that we needed money. How do we get the money? The government was not going to give money for research. If I say the regular expenses, part of it will go towards research, then say, what, you're not already making money, you want to spend more money on research and so on. Because it's not so visible, it's not immediately visible and so on. So you have to be careful. So we started a new program, and I went around Bangalore meeting all the businessmen and so on. I used to go around attending Bangalore Management Association meetings, CII meetings and so on. They're surprised actually, director of IIM attending these meetings and so on. My goal was different. I want them to get involved in the IIM Bangalore, set up this kind of lab. We got grant from Narthur Raghavan, and the entrepreneurship center was set up, and Citibank was involved. They set up a small lab, and we had like a small lab. You have to work with industry, and especially if you have alumni in that industry, that's where you. I think that is very important. You raise a very important question, which is money. Money doesn't come easy.
Yes, sir. Like you said, alumni is the one that doesn't change even if the infrastructure changes. The leadership might, the leaders might change. The students might when pass out and then become alumni. But the term alumni or the alumni actually involved with the institution, they don't change. So very well said, and we would like to really take your advice and
identify your alumni who are in that space, and then talk to them and so on and get them involved. And you see, you don't just ask them for money. Mistakes was made, just meet the alumni. Ask the alumni to come and give talks, and if they are working on some new technology, they'll talk about it and so on. And if they do that, they say, okay, we don't have the technology, can you set up a lab or something like that? For them also it becomes interesting. You're not exactly asking them physical money, but setting up a lab which they may be able to do that. So I think you have to be a little cautious how you approach it, but alumni should play a very important role in this.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable suggestion.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Your presence has added immense value to our event. We are truly honored to have you have you with us today. We sincerely appreciate your time you have taken from your busy schedule to be here and contribute for this session. Now, I would request Dean Secretary Ravindra sir, Gautam sir, and Satish Agawadi sir, along with our Executive Director, Peter sir, to just present a momentum to Dr. M.R. Rao sir. Before
Time, if you don't question, that means you didn't format your mind. You have to format your mind. You should know the art of questioning, and then you will get the right information which will really help you to go. Thank you once again, sir, for the lovely session today. Sir came from Hyderabad exclusively for this, for the love what he has towards IIAM and Alvada's group of institutions. Really thank you, sir, for all the help and the guidance and the tips.